Understanding demographic variables in market research. In this lesson, we will learn how to analyze and understand demographic variables using real-world datasets. Understanding demographics is key to segmenting customers and analyzing customer satisfaction. Businesses often use demographic analysis to target marketing and improve customer experiences. You will use Python to summarize, visualize, and draw insights from customer surveys and demographic data. Running the cell now. We import pandas for data wrangling. NumPy helps us with numerical operations and efficient calculations. OpenML lets us load real market research datasets. Matplotlib is for plotting graphs and charts. Seaborn helps us create visually appealing statistical graphs. We import the warnings module. We suppress warnings for a cleaner notebook output. Running the cell now. What are demographic variables? Demographic variables describe key characteristics about people, like age, gender, income. These variables help us group, segment, and understand customer behaviors. In survey and customer data, demographic variables are often columns like age, gender, or the region. Mistakes beginners make: ignoring missing values, misinterpreting categories, or failing to segment properly. Running the cell now. Exploring customer demographics, beginner example 1. Let us start by examining the structure and columns of a real customer satisfaction dataset. Running the cell now. We load a real customer satisfaction survey from OpenML. We extract the data into a pandas data frame. Let us print the shape to quickly check how many records we have. Here is a preview of the main demographic columns in this dataset. Running the cell now. The output shows that the dataset contains 7,043 rows and 20 columns, indicating a sizable data collection. The sample rows highlight key demographic features like gender, senior citizen status, partnership, dependence, and tenure. This helps us understand the structure and variables we will explore to analyze customer demographics in future lessons. Try printing other demographic columns and see what values they contain. Beginner example 2, visualizing gender and senior status. Let us create a simple count plot to visualize counts of gender and senior citizenship. Running the cell now. We use Seaborn's count plot to show the number of customers by gender, colored by whether they are senior citizens. We set a helpful graph title. Let us display the plot. Running the cell now. This count plot shows the number of customers grouped by gender, with separate bars indicating senior citizenship status. Notice how the bars allow us to quickly compare both gender distribution and the proportion of senior citizens within each group. This visualization helps us understand demographic splits and is a clear example of using hue to add another categorical dimension to count data. Try switching the senior citizen to another demographic like partner and rerun the plot. Beginner example 3, summarizing numeric demographic variables. We will look at basic statistics for tenure, how long a customer has stayed. This helps us understand the distribution and identify any unusual values. Running the cell now. We print summary statistics for the tenure demographic variable. Running the cell now. This summary shows that the tenure variable has data for 7,043 customers, with an average tenure of about 32 months and a wide spread, as seen in the standard deviation of 24.56. Notice the minimum value is 0, meaning some customers are very new, while the maximum is 72 months, indicating some long-term customers. These basic statistics help us understand the overall distribution and spot any potential outliers or unusual values in customer tenure. Try plotting a histogram of tenure to visualize the distribution. Intermediate example 1, cross-tabulating demographics and churn. We can see how customer demographic groups relate to churn, customer loss. Cross-tabulation lets us compare demographic segments' churn rates. Running the cell now. We cross-tabulate senior citizen status and churn, using row normalization to see within-group churn rates. Here are the resulting proportions by demographic group. Running the cell now. This crosstab shows the proportion of customers who churned versus stayed, separated by whether they are senior citizens. Notice that senior citizens, 1, have a higher churn rate, about 41.7%, compared to non-seniors, about 23.6%. This highlights how crosstabulation helps reveal meaningful differences in churn across demographic groups. Practice, try grouping by another variable such as a partner or dependents. Intermediate example 2, exploring demographics in marketing campaign data. Let us switch to a marketing campaign dataset and examine its demographic structure. Running the cell now. We load a real marketing campaign dataset from OpenML. We extract the data into a pandas data frame. We rename the columns to make them more meaningful for business analysis. Here is a preview of main demographic columns in this marketing campaign dataset. Running the cell now. This output shows the first 5 rows of the marketing campaign dataset, highlighting key demographic columns like age, job, marital status, and education. Notice the variety in job types and education levels, as well as missing or unknown entries. This mix sets the stage for analyzing how demographics may influence campaign response. The code's intent is to familiarize us with the dataset structure before deeper exploration. Which demographic column do you think affects campaign response most? Try analyzing one in the next cell. Intermediate example 3, demographic profiles of responders. We will summarize the ages of customers who responded to the marketing campaign. Running the cell now. We filter customers who responded positively to the campaign. Let us print summary statistics for the age of these responders. Running the cell now. This summary describes the age distribution of customers who responded to the marketing campaign, showing there are 5,289 responders with an average age of about 42. Notice the wide age range, from 18 to 95, and that the middle 50% of responders fall between 31 and 50 years old. This helps us understand the demographic profile targeted or reached by the campaign, which is key for tailoring future marketing efforts. For practice, summarize demographics for non-responders too. Advanced example 1, segmenting customers by multiple demographics. We can use Group B to segment the marketing data by both education and marital status. This helps us find high-potential customer groups for targeted advertising. Running the cell now. We group the marketing data by education and marital status. Let us print the size of each demographic segment. Running the cell now. This output shows the count of customers segmented by both education level and marital status, organized in a clear table. Notice how the largest groups are those with secondary education who are married, indicating a potentially high-value segment for targeted marketing. The use of Group B and Unstack here effectively breaks down the data into meaningful subgroups, which is essential for identifying key customer segments. Try visualizing this as a bar plot for easier comparison. Advanced example 2, visualizing churn rate by age groups. Now let us create age bins and plot churn rates for different age groups, using the customer satisfaction dataset. Running the cell now. We create tenure-based age groups as a proxy for age since age is not directly available in this dataset. We calculate churn rates by these age groups. We extract the positive churn rate for plotting. Let us plot the churn rate for each tenure group. We label the y-axis for clarity. Let us show the plot. Running the cell now. This bar chart displays the churn rate across different customer tenure groups, segmented into bins from under 1 year to 4 to 6 years. Notice how the churn rate varies by group, highlighting trends in customer retention related to tenure length. This visualization helps us understand how tenure influences churn, guiding targeted retention strategies. Experiment, change the age or tenure bins and examine how churn distribution changes. Advanced Example 3, Comparing Average NPS Scores by Region. Let us now look at a synthetic Net Promoter Score survey dataset and compare NPS by region. Running the cell now. We set the random seed for reproducibility. We generate a synthetic NPS dataset with customer demographics. These simulated data include customer ages. We assign customers randomly to different regions. We assign random NPS scores from 0 to 10. We compute the average NPS score per region. Running the cell now. This output shows the average NPS scores grouped by region, revealing that the North region has the highest mean score around 5.21, while the East has the lowest at about 4.5. Notice how grouping and aggregating with mean helps us summarize customer feedback trends across regions, which is key for comparing regional performance in the NPS survey dataset. Try visualizing these numbers using bar plots for quick comparison. Error handling, missing survey responses. Real data often include missing demographic values. Let us explore how to detect and handle such issues for robust market research analyses. Running the cell now. We simulate missing gender values to show a common real-world data challenge. We copy our customer survey data. We randomly set about 5% of gender values as NaN missing. We print how many gender values are now missing. Running the cell now. Here, the code introduces missing values in the gender column by randomly setting 5% of entries to NaN, simulating real-world data issues. The output of 352 confirms the number of missing entries detected, highlighting the importance of identifying such gaps before analysis. This step sets the stage for handling missing demographic data to ensure more reliable market research insights. Try using df_miss.dropner and observe changes in data shape. Debugging example, incorrect grouping. Mistakes in Group B or Crosstab can give misleading results. We will intentionally group with the wrong key and explore the impact. Running the cell now. We create a random group variable not tied to any real demographic. We group the marketing data by this random group. We calculate proportion of campaign responses by these meaningless groups. This result is meaningless for business unless groupings match true demographic variables. Running the cell now. This output shows the relative frequency of responses within groups A and B, but since these groups were assigned randomly, the distribution looks almost identical across both. Notice the near equal proportions of responses 1 and 2 in each group, highlighting how incorrect grouping can mask true patterns. This example emphasizes the importance of choosing meaningful grouping keys to avoid misleading conclusions in your analysis. Always verify your Group B keys with business logic in mind. Debugging example, misinterpreting NPS scores. Beginners sometimes treat NPS scores as continuous, but they are an index 0 to 10. Let us see the spread and think about what it means. Running the cell now. We create a histogram of NPS scores to help us interpret this variable properly. We set tick marks so all index values are visible. We add a descriptive title to the plot. We label the x-axis for clarity. We label the y-axis as number of respondents. Let us show the histogram. Running the cell now. The histogram shows the count of respondents for each NPS score from 0 to 10, highlighting that NPS is a discrete index rather than a continuous variable. Notice the distinct bars for each integer value, which emphasizes that NPS scores represent specific rating categories, not fractional values. This helps clarify why treating NPS as continuous data in analysis can be misleading. Remember, for NPS, scores of 9 to 10 are promoters, 7 to 8 are passives, 0 to 6 are detractors. If you want to learn more about NPS, search for Net Promoter Score explainer videos on YouTube. Market research best practices, segmentation and crosstabulation. Segment your data before analysis. group by demographics for targeted insights. Crosstabulation compares outcomes across groups, like churn by gender or age. Always check for missing or inconsistent demographic values first. Running the cell now. Market research analytics patterns. Construct indices and scores only when well-defined, like NPS or customer satisfaction index. Visualize trends over time, tenure, sign-up month, repeat purchases, to uncover hidden insights. Use practice exercises to reinforce learning, for example, plot churn by education level. Running the cell now. End-to-end market research example, from raw data to insight. Now let us start with marketing campaign data and come up with a segmentation-based recommendation. We will 1. Examine demographics and response rates. 2. Identify the segment with the highest response ratio. 3. Recommend targeting this segment in future campaigns. Running the cell now. We create a cross-tabulation to find the marketing response rate by education level. Let us print the proportion of yes and no responses for each demographic group. We identify which education group has the top response rate. We extract the maximum response rate for reporting. Here is a clear recommendation: focus future campaigns on this high-responding demographic group. Running the cell now. This output shows the normalized response rates by education level, highlighting that customers with tertiary education have the highest positive response rate at 15.01%. Notice the decreasing trend in response rates from tertiary to primary education, which indicates that education level is a strong factor in campaign engagement. This insight supports our goal of identifying and targeting the most responsive segment to improve future marketing effectiveness. Practice. Repeat this process for job or marital status to see which segments stand out. Subscribe on YouTube for more tutorials like this.